Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Dillian, the Body Snatcher Whyte, and Anthony Joshua. And this is what Dillian Whyte has to say in defense of his knockout loss to Alexander Povetkin. Okay. He says, I wasn't beaten up by Alexander Povetkin like Anthony Joshua was with Ruiz. Okay, well, the comparisons of those two guys lost to their respected rivals. I think Dillian Whyte, he has a point, but then again, he doesn't. Okay, let me explain. Okay, now, one thing was definite. Let's talk about the similarities. I think I did a video about this earlier, but in response to this statement, a loss is a loss. Let's just first say that. I've said it before, I'll say it again. These guys are taking L's. And these guys are taking L's because they're fighting different competition with different styles that give them different diversities, okay? Whyte was winning the fight. He was winning the fight, but he was in there with someone skilled, very experienced, and he set up a punch that Dillian Whyte slept on. Okay, so maybe that was because of his success. I believe it was because he had this guy down twice. He was on his way out, and he knew he was on his way out, so he knew, or he figured, that he was less dangerous at that point. Okay, so because at a certain point between the fourth round and the beginning of the fifth, Dillian Whyte thought to himself, you know what, let me coast a little bit because I got this guy already out of here, so let me just wait for my openings to land the left hook or to get something together to put that guy down once and for all, okay, because he already been down twice, Povetkin. But Povetkin showed him what an experienced guy would do with strategy. And one punch is all it took, okay? Now, was Dillian Whyte beating the crap out of him? No, not really. I mean, the first 2 or 3 rounds were pretty, dead on. Dillian Whyte did land some good shots, better shots than Povetkin, but Povetkin was throwing these shots to the body. He was looping the right hand, and I know that kind of got Dillian Whyte's attention. So it wasn't just this one-way ass whooping from Dillian Whyte. He was winning, though. He was winning. But was he just like destroying Povetkin? No, because Povetkin was bringing his own resistance to this fight. Okay, he was. But what he was also doing, which we saw in the 5th round, he was setting up a shot that put Dillian Whyte's lights out. Now, comparison to Joshua. Joshua got caught in the 3rd round. 1st and 2nd round was pretty whatever. It wasn't anything definite because you had a taller guy versus a shorter guy, and the fight really didn't begin until Joshua landed his left hook, putting Andy Ruiz down for the first time. And a lot of people don't understand when you do things like that to a fighter that's never been in that situation, he's either going to back up, or step in. And in Andy Ruiz's case, he stepped in because he knew exactly what was on the line, and he knew, okay, well, this guy put me down. A lot of times when that happens to someone, that it never happened to before, they get a sense of cautiousness or fear, okay? And Andy Ruiz showed that he was fearless. He showed that, hey, I'm game. You know what I'm saying? Because not any guy does that again like Andy Ruiz did, okay? And when Joshua came in, got closer and closer to Andy Ruiz, thinking that he was going to get out of there. Obviously, that right hand that Joshua landed didn't do what it's supposed to have done. Most people would have been on their ass again with that straight right that he hit him with as soon as Andy Ruiz got up, okay? And he tried to throw that right again. Andy rolled with it, right? Then Joshua missed a variety of punches, okay? He missed about 3 or 4 punches. And he got caught with a left hook, but it didn't catch him. It caught him kind of on the chin, neck area, which is pretty sturdy for Joshua. Then, he swings again. Ruiz catches him with a left hook. That changed the whole dynamic of the fight, but it did not knock him out. Okay, so you could look at this and say, well, Dillian Whyte got knocked out. He got knocked spark out. You could say that. You could say that easily. But then you could say, well, Joshua got caught with a left hook that changed the dynamics of the fight. And then, as of Dillian Whyte was saying that, hey, Andy Ruiz was just like beating up Joshua. Well, what that was, okay, he was beating a fighter that was wounded. So you could tell the difference between someone that's well and then someone that wasn't. Joshua never recovered, okay? And it's two ways you can look at it. You could look at it like, well, Dillian Whyte, he was all right until he went out. That was definite. Joshua got hit. That was also definite, but I think Joshua had more resistance, if that makes sense. He didn't have this little key or this little trigger or button that you pressed and good night, like Whyte. An uppercut was his button, and that button was pressed. And when he pressed that button, Whyte was out like a light. His light was out. Okay? So you can look at that with Joshua. No, Joshua didn't get knocked out. Neither did Wilder. Okay? But if you want to look at it in terms of a resistance, and people that are able to take punches and still keep getting up. Joshua got up 4 times. Whyte didn't get up any. You know what I mean? So again, Dillian Whyte saying this and saying that about Joshua getting beat up by Andy Ruiz. Yeah, it was a wounded Joshua. He got hit with a shot that just took him out of it. Okay? But he still rallied. And we also seen his condition. Well, it was other factors besides Andy Ruiz beating him up. I think Joshua wasn't ready for that particular fight because I think Joshua didn't know what type of fight that he was getting himself into and who the fighter was. Okay? As well as compared to Dillian Whyte, he knew exactly what he was in there with. He was in there with an old fighter, an old ex-champion, an old a golden Olympian, okay, and a dangerous fellow. He knew that. And he paid the price for it when he started slipping on that old experienced ex-champion too, didn't he? So it's like this. It depends on how you look at a loss. It's kind of similar to Wilder's situation. Hey, would you want someone knocked out and would you respect someone that knocked out and was winning the fight, or would you respect someone that was getting beat or taking punches or taking punishment, but still in there trying to win it, trying to see what will develop on their end? So it really depends on how you look at it, how you view it, But one thing is definite. All these guys lost. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Dillian Whyte's comments towards Anthony Joshua. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.